Hello, everybody. Welcome to an episode of Comix Rant Mini. And in this episode, we're going to talk about Nosfero The Crypt Walker by Shanth and Enjeti. Shanth and I have gone to college together in Rhode Island, and we instantly hit it off because we like comic books. We have been keeping in touch here and there, but, you know, he's on the East Coast, I'm on the West, so it's kind of hard to catch up on each other as frequently as we can, but anytime I talk to him on the phone or on a video call, it's like not much time has passed. And because we have comics running in our veins. So I backed his Indiegogo, and it came in maybe like a couple days ago. And I just wanted to take some time to go through this fantastic book. Before that, Shanth is an awesome artist. You can follow him on YouTube. He's got his own channel. You can see how he does his process stuff. But let me tell you that he is very meticulous with detail and loves giving you a high quality product. Not just for the book and the stuff inside, but even the way it's packaged. So this is some of the stuff I got with the package, and he'll like put this really nice comic book bag with it, and it comes with this sweet sticker made with Liberty in the USA, personalized note. Yes, love you too, brother. And this came in with the packaging to keep it, to make sure that the book doesn't get all messed up. This was actually outside the packaging, but I just put it all together. And then, on top of that, he also added this backing. I know it's funny. I'm like trying to go through this book, but I just want to show you guys, like, it's just quality, right? He doesn't want you to have like a cruddy, mangled book when it gets into your hands. So he really takes care to package the book well. And it's a sign of good quality, right? Down to the packaging. But the Indiegogo hit a few goals, I guess, and I got like some sweet looking bookmarks here. A bookmark. Here it is without the type, or without the lettering, but Shanth designed this as well, so it looks pretty freaking awesome. Some trading cards with unique art that doesn't appear in the book. At least I don't think so. This episode will probably not be safe for work or your children. So hide your kids, hide your wife. He sent this in with me. This is like a character that he created in college, I believe, and printed out a couple books, 3 books. But he sent me some of the promo stuff because I've always been a fan of this Shanth just pushing, like literally pushing mountains to get this book published. It's called Spring Ball, and this is some of the old promo stuff, and it's so awesome that he sent this in with it. Really nice print of this one panel that's awesome in the book. Like, by the way, this is how it all looks in the book. So it's not just the cover that's pretty, it's everything in between covers. This is nice. Also like a promotional piece for the cover. Let's set that aside. Let's crack into this book. So I am not a horror fan per se, but this book was still awesome. Like okay, so Nosfero, it's like he's like kind of like this. I guess you could say like demon hunter. That whose name comes from Nosferatu, right? Like but let's just look through some of these pages. It's a monster horror book in the vein of Lovecraft and Frazetta, really, right? Like these gorgeously painted panels per page. The writing, I was telling Shanth, like it's got this kind of old school appeal where it feels like those old pulp magazines that I loved reading. And it's great because nowadays I'm just so used to not reading words. I gravitate towards books that are wordless and the sequential art just carries it through. This is both. And I told him I love the way that this is written because the words really use some nice vocabulary. And it really exudes that feeling of when comic books were actually written well. With very verbose words that would be very descriptive. But Shanth is a master of storytelling. If you have not seen any of his work before, you're in for a treat. Compositionally per page, it's just amazing. You got this flash, you're straight into the action. You got demons, there's a sword cutting up demons, this crazy sexy lady sorceress chick, like saying some weird monster spells or whatever's going on here. What's nice about the book is you don't need to have that prior knowledge and you'll still be able to enjoy this. But here's something that's kind of cool with how he's doing flow here. You can kind of see it here, how it's going with how these guys are going, framing Nosfero, right? But then it comes over to this panel right here, which flows right from this cape. See how he just painted the cape and it's just one whole thing. It's a flow. And then there's decoration that kind of brings you around in this. But one of the best things here too is that it brings you over to Nosfero, but it points you back down. This giant red sword comes down here and comes down this way, right? There's like a movement going on here. And then now you're like thrust back into the next page. So this happens all the time in this whole book. And it's just great composition. Like a lot of great comic book artists do the same thing. And they lead your eye through the page in the way that you should be reading the book. So it adds to clarity, but also adds to some beauty in the flow, right? The pages aren't just panels. There's a nice one here going on here that I just appreciate once I read it again. But there's a panel break right here. But this composition works because there's like this guy trying to free this giant monster behind these doors, and it's actually separated by a panel gutter, which is cool. I feel, because panel gutters are usually kind of like this super hard edge, right? And it's like this thing that splits up the comic book. And it's kind of like this thing that's kind of powerful, right? Because you're splitting up pictures with these gutters, these white borders. But now you got like a crazy, straight up Lovecraft monster trying to bust through. And once this guy, I think he's supposed to sacrifice this girl, right? Then he's going to go through that. It's so powerful. The spell's so powerful. It's going to bust through panel borders, dude. Gutters, right? And here we go again, like a nice like flow through this page that's easy to follow. And it's just really great. There's a few here that I kind of would see, especially once you pull the page apart, that even from, they're not one drawing, right? It's not even like supposed to be a splash here where it's like a big double page splash, but it works together, brought together by just design. That's just innate with Shanth, right? It's just a natural way of thinking when he does his comics. But you can kind of see it happening here. The stairs come here, the stairs come here, and the stairs come here. And now you're back into this crazy demon dog that he rides, which is awesome, by the way. That's scary. It's good stuff. I've always admired the way that he put this book together. It is definitely some of the best stuff I've ever seen him do. And I really hope that if you guys were not on the initial Indiegogo to get a copy of this, that Shanth will make it so that you can get back on another print of this book. It's just fantastic, and you guys should really pick it up. A lot of things are going on here with the spirits and the smoke, and it's beautifully done. But I love this part here, because what you're getting here is this demon dog guy, and he's hatched, like the traditional quote unquote comic book feathering going on here. But then he flips it around once it goes into the background, right? He's using white highlight, but it's the same kind of feathering, but now it's on this side, and it's working to push the atmosphere, right? To kind of put this guy in the atmosphere in the back. this lovely, like, translucent dress that he paints all throughout. Really, this girl is always wearing this dress. Is also like a nice reverse, right? He's painting with white paint and not your usual black. I mean, this thing is all painted, so that's just how it'll look. But it's just so nice to see. It's like such a nice play. Great face, very solid faces, right? All this like watercolor work is gouache work. Sorry, Shanth. Gouache work that looks just stunning. Every page is just stunning. Oh my gosh! And here comes this guy, who was awesome. Like, I love this part of the design where his eyes. Here it looks like it's almost like tears, but always like undulating, right? It's like moving. It's like this smoky, kind of weird writhing thing. Poor lady demon lady gets tortured a little bit there, but don't worry, she's a bad guy. Don't worry about her. Werewolf face is awesome. And then this page was very nice. It's a quiet page, and it's very well done. Like, even in simple scenes, Shanth still adds, in the first few pages, you're like, yeah, this guy can do detail like crazy, but then he can do quiet and subtle. So there's like a nice gradient of colors here that's happening with the shadows and the lights. But I love like this color right here. I sound like some kind of crazy art teacher, but like the work going on here is just a nice change of colors and saturation and contrast. And the quiet moments are nice. He leaves it open. But yeah, there's a character called Greylock that's works with Nosfero, and this flashback. I love the way this flashback is laid out. Double page spread, right? It's really an origin story of sorts for the bad guys, how these bad guys came to be and what happened, how the evil got caused, and there were these two eyes, really, that are part of like what drives this whole bad guy thing. So they take center stage, but the way this is laid out is super nice because it really flows. It flows into each other, which is kind of nuts. And then pushes you back out. See, even this guy is pointing you back. Hey, turn the page, right? But the flow is nice and then the letters, here's something else that I mentioned to Shanth was, the letters by, Eric Weathers, right? Look great. The choice to color it is good, or not color it. And it works with the painting. Shanth's paintings are super awesome that I'd be afraid to lay out some letters on here because I wouldn't know how it would work, right? Like, you've seen this in like Alex Ross's books and stuff like that, where sometimes the lettering in Alex Ross's books just can't work with his stuff. It's just hard to read. This is easy to read. I was telling you, it's so easy to read, easy to follow, very clear, and it doesn't obscure the work where it just kind of like screams into itself, right? Like where you're not even looking at the painting anymore, which would be a shame if it happened in this book. It doesn't. But anyway, there we go. Composition, flow, panel flow, just excellent stuff. And then here's one of those bad guys. Kind of looks like Nosferatu. And this is one of my favorite sequences in the book. You guys should just read it. I don't want to spoil it, but it's just a nice, what's the word? Note, I guess, a highlight in this book that is like a horror book. And it's kind of like this, it drives home a point that is almost in contrast to what you would think is in a normal horror book. It's great. It really makes the reading a whole lot deeper for me. It's not just, blood and gore and fangs and people getting wrecked. People do get wrecked. Don't worry. You'll have some of that. But it just, makes it more to me. And it really made me love the book even more. And, you know, I'm probably just you're thinking, Arvin, you're just saying that because this guy's your buddy. But, you know, this, to be honest with you guys, is it. This is like, I told Shanth, this is some of his best work I've ever seen. And I think this is it. It stands tall with everybody else, regardless of what my biases are. Like, this is just good work, period. There's your gore. Here we go. It's getting slaughtered. Slaughtering some vampires, yo. Messed up. And, you know, Shanth doesn't pull it back. This is good stuff. Love it. I'm probably going to stop right here so I don't spoil the rest of the book. But there you have it. Please see if you can bug Shanth for that second printing. Or if he has extra copies, go buy it off him. I think his YouTube channel is Shanth Enjeti. Well, just do a search for him on YouTube. You'll find him. I'll link it in the notes after this video. But I hope you enjoyed flipping through some of Nosfero with me today. It was just... I'm glad I got to record this a few days after it came, because when it came, guys, I gotta tell you, I was just freaking out. I recorded an earlier episode and it was just total garbage. Like, cause I would be like, wow, look at that. Holy smokes. Look at this. It's amazing. And that's all I was saying. It was just the dumbest thing. I was not being very informative. Right now, I'm able to put my words together, but I'm still thinking it in my head. That holy smokes, look at this thing. It's the most amazing thing ever. But at least I can kind of push me along so you guys don't have to just listen to me gushing over this book. Please grab a copy. Please gush with me. That doesn't sound right. But yes, it's awesome. Its faces, you know, just... Shanth has reached a whole different level on his art, and it's just so amazing to watch and to see and to read. In any case, thank you for joining me. This is this episode of Comix Rant Mini featuring Nosfero by Shanth Enjeti. See you guys next time.